After 59 days and 70 matches, we now have the top 4 teams of IPL 2024. And once again, it all boiled down to the last league games of the season. While RCB made the cut in dramatic fashion, RR and SRH swapped their places at the last day of the league stages. But in today's edition of Lights, Camera and Cricket, our sole focus will be on a team that rose from the dead and qualified for the playoffs, defying all odds in the process. From no-hopers to sealing a playoff berth, Royal Challengers Bengaluru have indeed become the talk of the town. Now, a team that was placed at the bottom after 36 of the 70 league games at roughly the halfway stage, RCB pulled off a minor miracle to sneak into the top 4. It's the same team that went winless for one full month of the IPL after having won just one game out of their first 8 matches. They were ruled out by most experts and looked to be the first team to get eliminated with the kind of form that they had shown back then. But Faf du Plessis and his men have displayed tremendous mettle over the last few weeks to change the story this season. And it wasn't just what was said on the outside, but even the franchise and the players within had almost given up.
The place where the tournament has come to. मतलब मैं तो खड़े होके बोल सकता हूँ, मैंने तो अप्रैल में तो मुझे लग रहा था भाई सामान मैंने तो सेट कर लिया था कि हाँ चलो क्या ही होगा यार अब मतलब and where we are standing, it's amazing how this game can turn. And what is the explanation for that? You know, there is no explanation. आप खेल रहे हो, instinctively खेल रहे हो, मजे कर रहे हो, चलो जीतेंगे, जाके भिड़ के खेलेंगे. So exactly, you've come to this situation. So that's the thing. One should never assume that something else is going to happen.
3 weeks ago, I made this decision, 8 games, 7 lost. I thought, okay, today will be the last day. So I called 26 members of my family. Virat seems to give me a lot of grief for it. I thought today will be my last day. And I'll say bye to everybody and they'll all be done. But I think they've come a long way and they realize that I might end up playing a few more games.
With some of the big guns misfiring, it looked like this was going to be another disappointing campaign for the Bangalore-based franchise. In fact, about a month ago, the host broadcaster, based on their internal data and analysis, gave RCB a mere 0.2% chance of qualification. Read that again, 0.2% only. But the Red and Blue Brigade turned things around by their sheer determination and desire.
Unexpected things can happen, unfortunate things can happen, but the reason why I'm here is there is still hope, right? There is a 1% chance, and sometimes that chance is good enough. But what matters is what you guys think about that 1%.
Now, things had become so bad that after 6 straight defeats, when RCB faced high-flying SRH at the Uppal Stadium in Hyderabad, everyone looked at RCB with pity, fearing that they would perhaps be at the receiving end and become the first team to concede 300 runs in an IPL game. But in fact, in the face of adversity, this was where RCB turned around their season and stitched together a 6-match unbeaten run.
I think you always have to celebrate the little wins, and yeah, it's always nice to get back on the winning board. I think we've been wanting it for a while, and obviously, yeah, it feels pretty good now.
Now, over the next couple of weeks, RCB, riding on the good form that they had now discovered, went into the final match of the league stage knowing very well that it wasn't just a must-win situation, but they also had to win with a margin of 18 runs. Now, in the virtual knockout, RCB were faced with an opponent in CSK that was much superior to them and had a head-to-head advantage of 21-10. But playing at home, Virat and co were up for the challenge with their opening batters, setting the tone for them in the all-important encounter. Virat Kohli in particular was the aggressor between the two, smashing a quick-fire 47 of 29 balls in a knockout that comprised of 7 boundaries.
Unbelievable. I'm not really sure how to put that into words. But yeah, look, it's a complete team effort again. I think it wasn't easy to bowl at the end there. The ball, clearly with how I was bowling, was getting a bit wet. But, you know, Yash right at the end there with immense amount of pressure against MS and got the wicket and closed out beautifully. So testament to the work he's been doing. He's been exceptional this year.
We had a bit of a rain break. We had to go, stop, start again. Just the way Virat and Faf played that, the next 3 overs made it feel like 140, 150 could be a decent total. Literally, it felt like that. Most teams, I reckon, would have thought about that, and we would have thought about that for a second as well. But after that, to go out there, play the way we did, against all odds, taking on the game, and that's something that our support staff has been constantly harping on and showing that yet again in Bangalore. We all know how proud our franchisee is and how our fans are. I think we gave them a treat to watch.
Now, despite their heroics with the bat, the match finally boiled down to the final over of the match with MS Dhoni smashing a big six to give CSK a big leap towards the playoffs. But Yash Dayal held his nerves. Not only did he dismiss Dhoni, but denied 11 needed of 5 balls to give RCB a win to remember for a lifetime.
God's got a plan, so you just have to be honest to what you're doing, and I think we were pretty honest with our hard work, and we got the rewards. But I don't want to say anything more than this. We got to focus on the next one.
The way we have come back after 8 games, 7 on the trot, we needed to win 6. Just the way we have come back, I think people will remember this team for a very, very special time. Every year in this tournament, I think when you hit the 7-game mark, there will be 1 or 2 teams which will probably won 1 or 2. I think they look to us and say, RCB did it, that was special. We are going to try and repeat what RCB did. And that's what we all play cricket for. The sport for, where people follow us and believe that they can do something special. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. I can tell any team, definitely it's not easy. But what we've achieved today is very, very special. We should be really proud of ourselves.
आइकॉनिक ये सीज़न रहा है. देखिए ये बार बार आप नहीं करते हैं और आरसीबी से आपको उम्मीद इसलिए नहीं थी क्योंकि उनकी जो गेंदबाजी यूनिट नहीं थी ना, इतनी पुख्ता है नहीं. अभी भी आप देखेंगे वो टॉप 4 में जिसने जगह बनाई है उसमें से अगर गेंदबाजी में बात करें तो इतनी पुख्ता है नहीं. यॉर्कर डालने वाला आपके पास गेंदबाज नहीं है. उसके बावजूद यहाँ पे आके आप 6 मैचेस में से 6 मैचेस जीते हैं और सीधा क्वालिफाई करते हैं. इसी वजह से ये आइकॉनिक सीज़न है विराट कोहली का, फाफ डुप्लेसी का, आरसीबी का और उनके फैंस का. मैं अभी तक रिकवर नहीं कर पाया.
So what led to this incredible turnaround? Let's deep dive and look at 3 big reasons behind RCB's resurgence this season. Now, it's difficult to think that RCB would do well without their talisman, Virat Kohli, making sizable contributions, while Virat has been on top of his game with the bat throughout the season, having been the orange cap holder for most parts. It's the manner in which he has scored those runs in the fag end that has made all the difference. While he was operating at a strike rate of 131 in the power play of the first 6 games, that number jumped dramatically to 193 in the last 7 games. Powerful starts have been the key for RCB, and Virat Kohli's transformation is sure to have benefited his team. Rajat Patidar is the other RCB batter who has really stepped up for the franchise after a poor start to the season where he barely managed to trouble the bowlers. Patidar is easily the second best batter for the franchise, and his numbers reveal that too. Prior to the match versus CSK, the 30-year-old Madhya Pradesh batter had scored 135 runs in 7 matches, but had been dismissed only once, which meant he averaged 135 and had a mind-boggling strike rate of 255 in the same duration. Patidar coming into form meant that RCB's middle order was lessened and they weren't only dependent on Virat for the runs. And lastly, the bowler stepped up for RCB. After struggling for half the season to figure out the best bowling combination, they finally got the balance right in the bowling department, which has made all the difference. While RCB bowlers had picked only 34 wickets at an economy of 10.5 in the first 8 games of the tournament, in contrast, they have picked up 48 in the next 6 games at an economy of less than 10, which goes on to show their marked improvement. Now, while RCB may have done enough to scrape through to the top 4, but it still remains an uphill task for them to aim for the title. After all, in the 16-year history of the competition, only one team that played in the eliminator has gone on to win the title, and that was SRH in 2016. In that sense, RCB are chasing history. But just a few months ago, their women's team lifted the WPL title. And can the men take inspiration and complete the golden double? If that were to happen, then it would unarguably be the greatest comeback story in IPL history.